It's intermission time. It's great to get out to the movies.
Let's get started with a little intro of who you are for our listeners.
I am Greg Jardin. I'm the writer and director and editor of this movie, It's What's Inside, and I'm stoked to be here.
I'm stoked to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I'm fresh off of watching your movie.
Okay.
I watched it today, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Me too.
This is a question we ask everyone who comes on the show. It stumps some people. Maybe you'll have an answer off the top, but if you were to pick a movie that describes your life right now,
Whoa.
What would it be?
That describes my life right now. Oh, man. That is a stumper. The first thing that comes to mind is Punch Drunk Love, even though it really does not apply to my life at all.
I love that movie.
Oh, I love that movie too. Yeah. I love it so much. I love how just like how anxious it makes you feel.
Yeah.
It's a big influence on our movie. I just love how there's a super anxious guy. The whole thing is told from his POV, and it makes you feel like him. I'm not going through any of his situations right now or anything, but just the mood of it.
Yeah. You've been in that headspace making your movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you someone who's prone to that anxious feeling? Because I am.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Do you? Okay, so like when the topic of anxious comes to mind for films, I think of movies like Uncut Gems, Good Times. I mean, same directors, but
oh yeah.
Do you like that feeling when you leave a theater?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah. I was just talking about. Yeah, I mean the idea of a film making you anxious. I don't know. Like I hate being anxious in real life.
Yeah.
But when a movie makes me feel anxious, Cassavetes films do that to me as well. It's just the best feeling. It's like it's just evoking this visceral response. And yeah, it's just so fun. I guess it's a result of just stakes feeling high.
Yeah.
And then the anxiety is really just, you're so invested in the movie that you don't want things to go bad for whoever you're watching, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that is true, because if you're anxious, it's just a sign that you are a part of the story. Yeah. Like even now we're talking about it, my hands are a little sweaty.
Yeah, same. Schwitzing. I describe the tone of It's What's Inside as anxiety chic.
Oh, I like that. I would describe myself as anxious chic.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, I brought stickers actually for, I'll give
cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun answer. I like that answer. Okay, so before we get into your film, we're going to go through some questions so the listener gets a feel for you and for your movie taste, just in general.
Great.
So, what kind of movies do you like to watch?
I like anxiety-inducing films, I think. I mean, I really like most genres, but if I had to, if you were like, you can only pick one genre to watch, it would probably be sci-fi.
Oh.
Grounded sci-fi, I would say. Some examples of which, like Eternal Sunshine, Her, The One I Love. I just love how sci-fi allows you to take essentially like a fantasy element and use that element to explore some aspect of the human condition.
You said grounded sci-fi. Is that what those are called? I didn't actually know that.
Grounded sci-fi, I think grounded sci-fi essentially refers to something that takes place in our contemporary world, but has a sci-fi element, as opposed to like Blade Runner, where it's like, in the future, or in that case, retro future, that sort of doesn't exist. Eternal Sunshine takes place, well, when it came out, which is I think 2004.
I love all those movies, so that's a cool term to refer to them. I'm going to use that now.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
I didn't make it up, but
but now I know it.
Yeah, now you know it.
What's the TV series where it's all technology?
Severance.
Oh no, but I'm so glad you said
Okay.
Severance. Severance is such a good. Do you like Severance?
I haven't seen it yet. I know.
That's shocking.
I knew you were gonna react. Yeah, I've had this conversation with so many people. I gotta watch it.
I am so excited for season 2.
Okay, yeah. I've heard unanimously nothing but great things, and
It is such a smart show. It's so sick.
I gotta.
Yeah, you have to watch it. No, the show I actually was going to say, guys.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, Black Mirror. Yeah, Black
Yes.
Mirror. Do you like Black Mirror?
Yes, Black Mirror is great.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I had nothing more to say other than I love it.
Yeah. It's awesome. I'm looking forward to that next season as well.
Yeah, me too. Except the one thing, I saw a tweet a couple days ago. I feel like my entire source of knowledge is Twitter, but or I guess X, but I say Twitter still.
Sure.
Someone was saying that they miss when that show was just kind of English actors that no one knew their name, because now it's like a lot of big names on the show, and it kind of changes the feel.
It does change the vibe. Yeah. Once Netflix got it right, I think, what was that, like season 3 or 4? Yeah. There are a lot more recognizable actors. And I mean, I feel that. I mean, it's still the same guy.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. So,
True.
I mean, that keeps me interested.
Yeah.
In it.
So you said grounded sci-fi is a genre. What's a genre that you probably watch the least?
Probably Westerns.
Okay, yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I'm no shit on Westerns. I'm trying to think of the last time I watched a Western, and it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about some of your favorite filmmakers?
Oh, all right. Well, we got David Lynch. David Lynch has been a favorite of mine really since I saw Twin Peaks as a kid, and really before I even knew like what specifically a director was and what his involvement was. Like like he's been a huge influence on me. I love the man. I love his vibe. Spike Jonze, I love.
Yeah.
Being John Malkovich, her, like, all the, I mean, everything is done. And more recently, like, I love like Robert Eggers stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love Emma Seligman stuff.
She is cool. That was a good shout.
Emma Seligman, who did Shiva Baby.
Yeah, Shiva Baby. Didn't she do Bodies? Oh, I'm just thinking of that because of Rachel Sennett.
I love Shiva Baby. That's another great anxiety. Inducing film.
Totally.
Actually super obsessed with that movie, and I can't believe that was her first film. But yeah, I love So I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff from her. I'm trying to think like who else. I mean, like all the greats, of course, Nolan, Tarantino. I love that movie. Julia Ducournau. I don't know how to pronounce her last name exactly, but yeah, she's very exciting. Anyone who has like essentially like a very singular voice. Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Is another one. I just love singular voices, really.
So in that same vein, when you make your next film, is it going to be in the same voice as this film that we'll be talking about today?
I like to think it will be another movie that elicits some form of anxiety.
Okay.
I mean, I like just that like we were talking about, making people feel anxious as a way to sort of empathize with the character and to sort of put you in like give you that character's experience. I find very, I guess, exciting.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll do another anxiety chic one should the world give me the opportunity to make another film.
If you had to watch only one filmmaker's entire filmography for the rest of your life, does one come to mind?
That's good. Only so I can't watch. That's the only piece of media I can consume.
So someone that you would be happy with repeat watches.
Okay. But only their stuff. And no one. Oh man. Okay. I'm going to say my man, David Lynch, is out then solely because he just doesn't have I mean, I would probably go with someone like Spielberg solely because he has so much stuff. Yeah. Right. Like,
very varied movies.
Yeah. A lot of varied movies. It's like, if you say Tarantino, then it's just these 9 movies. Spielberg's done whatever, like 30 plus. So yeah, you at least have the opportunity. But wow, that's a crazy question. I mean, at the top of my head would be either Spielberg or Scorsese, just in terms of you get the most quote unquote bang for your buck in terms of breadth.
Yeah,
of work.
That's a smart answer. That's smart. Are there any films that are coming out either currently in theaters you haven't seen yet, or just future films you're looking forward to seeing?
Oh gosh, so many. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the Joker sequel. The fact that it's a musical, I'm like, I heard that, I was like, man, that's a crazy idea. Sounds like a big swing. I love big swings.
Yeah.
Nosferatu for sure.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. I think Nosferatu is probably my most anticipated film. That's coming out soon. We were just talking about the Substance. I just saw that.
I just saw it last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
So good. Yeah. So fun. Our whole theater was like laughing, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, same. But like in not at the like
holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so insane. It's like
it keeps building and building and building.
Yeah, and so singular. It felt so like such a strong voice. Yeah, I loved how singular it felt.
Very fun watch for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw it together.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, awesome.
If you could live in the world of any movie that you love, what movie
Ooh.
would you pick?
Okay. Someone asked me this a while ago, and I said Blade Runner.
Cool.
Although, yeah. I mean, I definitely want to exist within the world of Blade Runner. Ever since I give that answer, I was like, yeah, but it would probably get depressing after like a few months if it's just like
Overstimulating a bit, no?
Overstimulating, but also just like the like constant like rain, and it just seems like it would be like an awesome sort of like trip to take to get those like color noir vibes. But then maybe after a while, I mean, like the whole world in the movie Blade Runner is like is crumbling, like the earth, like the planet has been ruined.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know if this is ideal.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So second answer would be Her. I think
Cool.
Yeah.
Everything is very stylistic.
Yeah, and it's nice, and LA, like the train in LA looks all zen in that movie. So yeah, I would go Her.
Jeff McFetridge is a graphic designer, and he is really good friends with Spike Jonze, and so he helped kind of create the world of Her. Like he did a lot of the like what this app and what this website would look like and all of that type of ideating.
Oh yeah.
And so I just watched a documentary on him. It's his name and then Drawing a Life, and because I'm a graphic designer, and so it just felt like a beautiful pairing of like design and film.
Oh wow.
So you should check it out if you care about that at
Sure,
all.
I do. No, absolutely.
But he seems like very he was also involved with you just said it, Being John Malkovich.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly in what vein. I think he did the poster for Being John Malkovich.
Oh yeah, the OG, like with the head.
Yeah, the head.
Oh okay.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
and so I didn't realize because he lives in LA and he's done like a lot of art in the city, but I didn't realize how he was so affiliated with film. So I was watching this documentary, and then all of a sudden it started like naming all these films, and so you should check it out.
Oh, that's very cool. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It sounds like he probably did like the interface of the OS1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
If I were to pick one just right now, I'd probably change my mind a million times. I want to live. This sounds bleak, but where the Banshees of Inisherin is. Did you ever see that?
I did. Yeah.
I love how lush and green it is, and I just want to go to that pub.
Yeah.
Just hang out and have a beer and
I'd go there
and be outside with the fresh air and like read a book, but just for a bit, because then I would get bored. Because there's not much.
It does look like a very different style of life than LA.
Yeah. I think it sounds nice. Maybe just right now I'm craving that.
Yeah. Would you cut your fingers off?
No.
No. Okay.
I'd hang out with the donkey.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Me too. Me too.
What are two completely unrelated movies that you would watch as a double feature? Like to you, this makes sense to watch back to back, but they have like really nothing in common.
Okay, I guess the craziest thing is I guess Tim Burton's Batman and Larry Clark's Kids.
Where's the tie-in there? I like this.
The main tie-in is those are just like two movies that like when I saw them growing up, I was like, I didn't know that movies could be like this movie.
Cool.
And you know, like I saw Tim Burton's Batman and I was like I didn't know what a director was, you know, and I'm essentially responding to Tim Burton's voice, but I'm not, you know, at the time I don't have the education or the vocabulary, but I'm like, I don't know who's responsible for why this film feels this way. I didn't know films could feel this way, but this is incredible. And then same thing with seeing Kids. It's like I've never seen a movie like essentially like a verite film.
Yeah.
And like this feels so different than everything I've seen. And I do kind of want to live in this world in a strange way. Like there's a strange romantic quality to New York City as presented in Kids, even though it's like so. It's like the polar opposite from the New York City presented in like The Devil Wears Prada.
1,000%. Yeah.
But for some reason, it's like, yeah, man, I kind of want to live there, like in this flop house.
Yeah. Well, it's like a bit edgy, and they're like on the cusp of what's like hip, even though it's like also sad. That movie it's authentic, I guess.
It certainly feels very authentic. I was talking to someone about it, and I was like, I mean, I've never been in that specific type of situation, but much like Friedkin's film Cruisin', like I've never been in like an 80s sort of like gay BDSM club.
Yeah.
But when I'm watching, I'm like, this feels so real.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know?
That is such a funny feeling. I've had, like, I never even thought about that. In so many movies, you're like, wow, this is so now.
Yeah. The fact that a film can show you something that you're not familiar with and convince you that it's like, legit, even though you have zero life experience.
That's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, your double feature sounds fun. It sounds nostalgic.
Oh, maybe. I'll see if I can make it happen.
Do you have a classic movie blind spot? So a critically acclaimed film that you're like, I know I should have seen this by now, but I haven't.
Oh yeah, big. The Sound of Music is
really?
the first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny because like anyone could respond like really to anyone's answer because everyone thinks, you have to see these movies.
Sure.
Sound of Music, I think I just like musicals. So
it's long, right? Like there's an intermission.
Yeah, I think there is an intermission.
Yeah.
I think there is an intermission. I had it. I'm sure my parents still have it. We had it on VHS. So I feel like I just watched it a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, what's your blind spot?
Oh, I mean, I have a million. This podcast really just like shows my true colors.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We were talking last night about, and a previous guest was saying his love for Universal monster movies. And I've seen like a couple, like I've seen Frankenstein, but there's a lot of gaps. So this Halloween, I want to watch like all the classic monsters.
Yeah. It's a great time to do that.
Yeah. So I think that's one for sure. Like really just kind of classic old school films I need to brush up on.
I'm sure that that a bunch of those are going to be shown in like revival theaters.
Yeah, and that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, so now we're going to get into your movie pick, which is your movie. Because sometimes we'll have guests come and they're not promoting anything, so they just pick a film that they like. But we're talking about your film. Can you give us a brief synopsis?
Sure. It's What's Inside is a sci-fi thriller about 8 friends, old friends who get together in a house because one of them is about to get married. And the party goes awry when and a strange friend shows up with a suitcase, and in the suitcase is a device that allows them to swap bodies with one another. So they essentially use this to sort of swap bodies all at once, like, as a group. And as that happens, old flames are unlocked, old rivalries are reignited, and basically stuff gets nightmarish. It devolves into an existential nightmare is what the
tagline. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wrote, directed, and did visual effects for this movie, right?
Yes. Yeah. I edited it, and then I was essentially the VFX soup. I didn't literally do every single visual effect in the film, but yeah.
Was that the plan from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean, I have I've been doing my own post for really ever since I've been in LA, which at this point has been like about 15 years. So like on all the short stuff, I just started editing, and I just started learning visual effects out of necessity. When you're doing like a low budget music video and you can't afford anyone to do visual effects, I essentially would just go on YouTube and watch After Effects tutorials over the years.
I love After Effects.
Oh man, me too. Me too. You're an After Effectser.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So as I was like doing short stuff, I was actually working initially as a graphic designer, and then I started like getting jobs doing like motion design, et cetera, at like entertainment marketing agencies. So I was doing stuff for movies and TV shows, beefing up the After Effects, eventually Cinema 4D knowledge, and by the time it came time to shoot this film, I shot the film kind of having a pretty good understanding of how I was going to edit it, and then I spent a year editing and doing visual effects. I don't actually recommend anyone does their own visual effects, for the sanity of it all.
It seems like a lot, everything that you did for this film. But it's exciting because then it's your blood, sweat, and tears and your exact vision.
Yeah. There is something very satisfying. I mean, I like the editing process, and there's something that's very satisfying and dopamine inducing about you have this footage, you have this idea about how the footage is going to go together, you put it together, you lay in the sound, and it comes together, and it's it's like the best feeling.
Yeah.
It's so fun. So that part's fun. The waiting for stuff to render for like weeks on end, not as fun.
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I do that again next time or not.
So the editing in this film really stood out to me. I'm gonna say a few moments I don't think it'll give away too much. You tell me if this gives away too much of the movie, and we can cut it out. The use of red lighting to show who's actually who. I thought that was smart. Flashback. I didn't know how to describe this, but the use of flashbacks, and they're almost like photo collages.
Yeah.
And then they alter based off of the facts that are given or someone's memory of like what actually happened.
Yeah.
I like the title cards.
Oh, thank you.
There's a scene where the camera spins around to the characters, and it made me think of that 70s show when they're in the basements. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
I've never seen that 70s show, but I know I've seen GIFs of, I think.
You know what I mean? It just like the camera pans to each person.
Yeah. Wow.
And then my other reference that I thought of was there's one edit, which I really liked when they first are experiencing the game. Does it have a name?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they first are playing with it, and it shows all the characters in boxes, and it felt like Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch, yeah.
Yeah, I loved that.
Oh, thanks.
That was cool.
Yeah, we referred to that as the Brady Bunch sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came out of just like well, to be honestly, I was trying to figure out. I was like, how do we show sort of like everyone's reaction at once? Like who should we show, and like how do we cut it? And the honest truth is I smoked a joint one night.
I love it.
And I was thinking about it, I was like, oh man, it should be like Brady Bunch style split screen.
Cool.
And I told that to my producer Jason. He was like, oh, that's cool. And the button is like right in the middle. I was like, oh, that yeah, the button's in the middle.
Yeah, I love it. It was cool. I really liked it. It's funny because Brady Bunch is before my time, but my mom, every Christmas, we did a themed Christmas card, and my last name's Braun, and we did the Braun Bunch. And one of our Christmas cards was like my family members and our cats. So the Brady Bunch is really in my noggin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that like 3x3 thing is just like iconic,
yeah,
even if
cool.
you don't even, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, those were just some like the standout moments because before I even knew you had a hand in that aspect of the film, I was just like noticing how stylistic the movie is.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I've done a bunch of short form stuff, and so like I mean, really all the stuff that I directed prior to this was all short form stuff, and when you start doing music videos in short form, everyone's like, well, like what kind of director do you want to be? Like what kind of stuff do you want to do? And it's a hard question to answer, but I basically started saying like I want to be someone who just does something that has some sort of a wow factor, or like a WTF, how do they do that factor? So I just started thinking about short stuff like that, and then when it came to that like the black and white flashback that you mentioned, I was like, okay, so for this flashback, which is essentially just a massive exposition dump, it was like, how do we make this feel like it's not an exposition dump, but also like it's just this fun to watch, which feels different than everything else. And I just kind of came up with like the idea of like, I think like in the script, I described it as like looking at Photoshop on crack, like you're just turning layers on and off.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's cool.
Yeah, thanks.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and I was really like just inspired by like, well, specifically like black and white wedding photography that's done with like a flash. And so, yeah, it was essentially just doing that using the mannequin challenge for everyone, and then like a lot of Photoshopping, and then it kind of came together.
Sweet.
Thanks.
How was it having your first feature film debut at Sundance?
Oh my goodness. It was surreal and beautiful, and like I'm still kind of reeling from that. I feel like every filmmaker, Sundance is like the sort of like pie in the sky ideal. And we shot this movie independently, and the plan was just to send it to film festivals. Everyone's asking like, what's going to happen? It's like, I don't know. Like, we're just sending it off. You send it off to Sundance. You get like a confirmation email, but then you don't hear anything for like whatever 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I legitimately did not think we were getting in, just because statistically it just seems so like unlikely.
Yeah.
And we didn't have like an in or anything. So when I got the call, I mean, like, it was such a, I was like, man, I was like, are you serious? We're in the like this is amazing. Oh my God. Movie wasn't even done when we got the call. We sent in like, a work in progress, raced to get it done, got it done like 9 days before Sundance.
Whoa.
Went to Sundance, and then, it was just, it was a dream. It's like you go there, everyone, you're just surrounded by just people who just like love film. The atmosphere was not like pretentious or like snooty or anything. And then, you're watching this thing that you made for the past year, or really 6 years, just in front of people who just love movies. And, that in my, like, we had 2 test screenings, but those were really the first, or those were the first audiences that saw it. And so it was awesome. It was, I hope I have an experience like that again in life, but if not, I'm very thankful that I had that one, because it was a dream.
Insane.
Yeah.
And Netflix ended up buying the film. What did that mean for you guys? And was that totally out of your realm of expectation? What was that process like? Yeah,
I mean, so, we go to Sundance. At that point, we get what's called a sales agent, which is, someone who, in our case, it was this guy from Ben Kramer. Shout out to Ben Kramer from from CAA. But basically, a sales agent just comes on to independent films to sort of be like almost like your real estate agent for, for selling your film. You go into Sundance, there's very little. I mean, there's basically no buzz about this film. It doesn't have any big names or anything. So it's like kind of going, your expectations pretty low. Like, I'm going in like, I'm not even sure if people are going to show up to the screenings. It was my first time at Sundance. Ben, our sales agent, was like, look, just FYI, the stories you've heard about movies selling in 24 hours at Sundance are now sort of like a thing of the past. Part of that's because of COVID. Part of that's because of how streaming has changed the industry. But he's like, just for reference, last year, Talk to Me sold in 3 days, and that was considered like lightning fast.
Okay.
So basically, just don't be tripped up if no one wants to buy it in the first 3 days. And I was like, okay. No problem. I was like, I guess I'll just watch movies. I mean, my expectations for it selling were not very high anyway. We made it for $2.5 million. I was like, I hope just like anybody buys it for $2.5 million, so I can say that we broke even. So when we were fortunate enough to get our first offer, which came in, I think like 24 hours ish after the premiere. I mean, it was like, wow, it was like, A, I can't believe an offer came in. B, I can't believe the first offer we got is already double the budget. So we're already
insane.
Yeah, insane. And then, then the next day, like Netflix got in there, and then multiple people were bidding, and it was unreal. So at that point, it was like the worst case scenario was already like amazing. So yeah, it was surreal. And honestly, like I learned a lot about the business aspect of the entertainment industry just by watching Ben do his thing and kind of do his like Succession thing on like on the phone, and like sort of essentially like, hike the price up. So it was like about a 36-hour quote unquote bidding war, and then Netflix ended up winning the bidding war, and then 5 minutes after that's done, there's like a deadline article out, like,
wow, everyone's quick.
Yeah, so quick. So yeah, it was wild. And then 24 hours after that, I got COVID, and I was just laid out.
Well, that's a kind of a good time. You can just like revel in the glory.
Yeah,
and relax.
It's really good that didn't happen 2 days earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's a really crazy story, and cool for your first feature.
Yeah, it was so. Yeah, like I said, man, it was a dream. And just going, like I said, you go into Sundance, you're like, I just hope someone shows some interest in this. So I mean, I'm truly, because in the 6 years it took to get, I mean, like I I wrote it in 2016. We finally got financing in 2022, and in that 6-year period, there were a lot of people who, I sent the script to a lot of people, and basically everybody passed. So you just kind of you just calibrate your expectations, be like, okay, well, I guess this movie is just gonna be for me and like 6 people on Reddit, I guess. Just because statistically, not a whole lot or no one has shown interest. So yeah, it was. I could go on, but it was amazing.
I love that. That's a great story, and it I feel like really inspiring for any filmmakers listening. So,
I hope so.
What made you want to make this movie specifically and tell this story?
So it was kind of 2 things. One was I'd been in LA. I came to LA from film school. I went to Florida State in 2006, and I've been trying to get this other movie going, this other sci-fi comedy going for like basically 10 years. And it was budgeted at like around 10 mil. It had gone through a bunch of producers, but basically the short version is we just couldn't get financing. For a variety of reasons. A huge one was I was an untested director. No one wanted to give me 10 mil, which makes sense. So at the end of that, I was like, I need to write just like a one location, like a movie that I can make as inexpensively as humanly possible. So I just essentially gave myself mandate, one location, one night. It should be like 8 people at a party. Some dude should have a suitcase, and there should be some sort of sci-fi element in there because I like sci-fi. That's kind of where it all essentially started from.
Yeah.
I had just played the party game Werewolf, also known as Mafia.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time, like right around this time, and it was at my friend's birthday party. It's like super intense. People's feelings are getting hurt and stuff like that, And it just felt like
I love a party game.
Yeah.
I get way too into it.
No, I know. They suck you in. It's just like watching like an anxiety-inducing movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get so sucked in. It feels like life or death, even though it's just a stupid party game. So when you're in it, it feels intense. So I liked the idea of like translating that intensity into a film. And then I basically just came up with the idea of like a mass body swap kind of early. I was a little ho-hum on it until I kind of came up with the idea of what the first big turn would be. And that kind of got me excited because I hadn't seen anything like that. I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like thematically, the idea of sort of like looking at a relationship in crisis, and specifically it's in crisis because each party in the relationship has been consuming a steady diet of some form of artificial intimacy. Our guy Cyrus has essentially just been watching a lot of pornography and like engaging in like thirst traps, and as a result of that, he's been neglecting his partner. Shelby, on the other hand, has also been engaging in social media a lot, but more for like as a sort of like beacon for like how she thinks she needs to present, which is different than how she is. And so the movie was meant to look at like, what does it do when 2 people in a relationship are consuming like that sort of mental diet? And what is the downside of just getting all your sort of intimacy from screens and not from an actual person?
Were there any surprising or unconventional sources of inspiration for the film? So rather than other films, did you get inspiration from, I don't know, different parts of life?
Yeah. I guess the first one that came to mind is also a cannabis story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
There's a social media montage in the film. Our social media influencer, Nikki, Shelby, is like scrolling through her thing, and it has this sort of like bombastic classical music behind it. That sequence was initially much shorter as written. I started working on it in post. I went to the Walt Disney Concert Hall to watch the LA Phil with my friend Mark. Smoked a joint before going in. I'm hearing this like incredible bombastic classical music. The edit is like fresh in my mind, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what the like Instagram sequence needs to sound like. I don't know how I haven't seen it until right now, but now there's like no other way to do it. So yeah, that's the first one.
That's fun. I love that. The music was a really cool, like it added like a comedic tone to it a bit, you know, it just like kind of like the drama of it at all.
Yeah, totally.
So movies that came to mind for me, I wanted to touch on and then see if these at all came to mind for you and if you had other inspiration. First, I said it earlier on accident, but Bodies, Bodies, Bodies came to mind. Obviously, like for those listening who haven't seen it, a young group of friends, there's like big personalities in the group.
Yeah.
They're all under one roof, looming horror.
Yes.
Then Talk to Me, you had mentioned also. It came to mind a bit just of like friends playing a game, something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Horror. Saltburn came to mind just more so with the tone and the audience. I feel like the people who would watch Saltburn might watch this, but I could be wrong.
I hope you're not wrong.
And that was like something that came to mind. I just felt like it was a similar audience. And then Midsommar, not in plot, but in the dynamic between the main couple. I felt like
that's great.
Their miscommunication, the disillusionment, and the bickering reminded me of the couple in Midsommar.
Yeah, you know, we referenced that exact relationship actually a bunch and how everything plays out in that versus how everything plays out in this without getting into spoilers. Yeah, James who plays Cyrus and I talked about.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great, although people have asking that and I'm leaving that one out, but yeah, for sure. We referenced that one a lot.
What other references?
So the big ones for us just as a crew were Argento's Suspiria is like the biggest one. That was that was mainly so.
I love that movie.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's so like the way it looks is like, you know, incredible. I would say iconic even.
Yeah.
So yeah, the like saturated color lights, like, you know, that was a big reference for us. Clute was another one. Blowout. After Hours, Punch Drunk Love, for the anxiety aspect, and this movie called The Double, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Mia Wasikowska. Amazing movie, super surreal, kind of like sci-fi. Directed by Richard Ayoade. I wrote the first draft of the script while listening to that score, and then we got that composer Andrew Hewitt to do the music for this. Yeah.
Wow, that's fun.
I was so glad he initially said he wasn't sure because it was very low budget, but I don't know, I turned on the charm, I guess.
The music was great. It really fit.
One thing I said when I met him, which I think actually did pull him over to the dark side, was I was like, you know, I really don't want to cut the movie to any temp music. Like I would like to have the music in advance. So he actually wrote all the cues before we shot, and then I was able to play the music on set to the actors. Yeah, it was super helpful.
Yeah, I bet. Wow.
Regarding, sorry, you said Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Yeah, but Bodies, 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 Talk to Me. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's obvious similarity there, and it's, you know, they both. I mean, Talk to Me is not over the course of one night, but it's like basically like young people to get together in a party. There's a game. Basically, stuff goes wrong. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I can. A lot of people have made those. Yeah, I mean, Talk to Me did. I'll say Talk to Me came out after we had already shot.
Yeah.
But when it came out, I was like, there's a bunch of people playing the game. I was like, I gotta see this movie, man.
Well, so Talk to Me, and then I said Saltburn just based off of like the audience. I feel like because this movie is like they're millennials, right?
Yes.
And so I just feel like Saltburn's a millennial movie.
Yeah, I love Saltburn.
Yeah.
And I love the way it looks. Someone else mentioned that Saltburn that it reminded them of Saltburn because it was like in a mansion that was kind of colorful.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, I'll take any of those comparisons.
Incorporating social media into a film seems like a really fine line that you could go either way. Did you feel like, or did you have any apprehension of incorporating social media?
Or
was that always the intent?
I mean, it was kind of always the intent. I mean, just because now, like the idea, like social media is especially for young people, I think, you know, it's like a very easy place for someone to go to see how quote unquote popular someone is. And now that all of us are on social media and everything is online, that has become this weird metric for perceived success. Not actual success.
Yeah.
So just the idea of like Shelby being sort of envious of an influencer, it was almost sort of like the like obvious choice.
Yeah.
We kind of tried to describe, or like the way I described the Shelby's experience or the experience of watching social media in the movie as like almost being Disneyland, like when you hear someone's comments, it sounds like they're almost in like a Disney and everyone is very happy. And that was a sort of choice to have like that was a tonal choice to have like a comedic tone but it's like, this is how Shelby is reading these comments. Like everyone is just like having like the best time.
Yeah.
Which is a little, I guess, winky and cheeky. And I think hopefully softens the edge of it leaning into any cringe territory.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I think I had just recently watched a film that loosely had social media in it. Brittany Snow, the actress, made her first feature film, Parachute, and it had. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Okay, it has like a bit of social media. There was another film that comes to mind that I'm blanking on, but I don't know. I just because it's so relevant and pertaining to our world. So it almost feels like, how could you not incorporate social media?
Yeah, I mean, I used to think like back in the MySpace days when I would see a film that incorporated MySpace, I was like, oh man, this is dating this movie. Like it's not like it's preventing it from being timeless. But then I guess I just changed my entire outlook and like, well, every movie is dated. I mean, like a movie that has a phone book is automatically dated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to sort of juxtapose all the like super modern stuff, i.e. social media and the way that everyone talks in the film with a sort of like older aesthetic, which is why we added like 16 mil film grain on it. All the music in the film, like all the needle drops are oldies.
Yeah.
There's nothing modern in it. That was all just to sort of like make it sort of, I don't know.
Like around the edges a bit?
Yeah. Around the edges, give it a different feel than something that feels very, very, very modern, not only in its content, but in its execution.
Totally. Were you at all involved with casting? Because this is kind of like a larger group. The two actors I recognized were Brittany O'Grady from season 1 of White Lotus, and then Alicia Dedman
Kerry.
Dedman Kerry from Saint X. I had just watched that show.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So both of those girls I recognized, but I love when newer actors, or I guess maybe not newer, they've probably been working for a long time, but new to me, are in films. It's fun. I love fresh faces.
Yeah. It's so fun to see an actor you don't recognize, because then you have zero baggage.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I guess this person is really like this, because this is my only experience watching it. Yeah, I mean, oh man, I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled with our cast, just both professionally and personally. Like they're like a solid, loving group of people. They all meshed and worked really well together. But yeah, we had a great casting director, two great casting directors, Mary Vernew and Sydney Shercliffe. Mary is the casting director on Euphoria.
Oh, sweet.
And one of our producers, or one of our executive producers, is Coleman Domingo, who's on Euphoria. Coleman is actually really like the main reason we got financing, because Coleman eventually got the script in I think 21 from our producer Kate. Coleman gave it to this company called Such, who ended up giving us our financing.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's all attributed to him. Well, really everyone I just mentioned, but basically once we had financing, we sent it to 5 casting directors, sort of all levels. Everybody passed, and Coleman was like, I'm sending this to Mary, and Mary's a big casting director. And I was like, there's no way Mary Vernew is going to do this small movie. And then inexplicably next day, she's like Mary's like, whatever, love the script, love Coleman, I'm in. I was like, oh, that's insane. So they helped a lot. And yeah, I worked with Mary and Sydney, on all the roles. They would suggest people to me, specifically like Nina Bloomgarden, who plays Maya, the like bohemian. Yeah. She, they were kind of pushing her on me. And so I had there was another actor that I was quote unquote in love with for for that role, and it didn't work out. Was with this other actor. So they're like, "What do you think about Nina Bloomgarden?" I was like, "I don't know. She looks kind of young. I'm comparing her to the older members of the cast, and like, you got to see her. You got to see her." I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, so then like they booked an audition where she auditioned, and it was one of those things, man. Like first 5 seconds, you're like, "Oh my God, this is the person."
That's sweet.
I can't believe I was like in any way doubting them. It was a real lesson in terms of like, if you have casting directors who know much more about casting than you do, then you should probably take their opinions and advice very seriously. And so, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have Nina. And I I love her performance so much. They found David, who plays Forbes, guy with the suitcase. That was essentially like open casting audition. Same thing, like first 5 seconds, you see his audition, like, oh, this is the guy. He's been in a bunch of other stuff, but
I saw on his IMDb he was in the Green Room.
Green Room, yeah.
Yeah, that movie's cool.
Oh yeah,
it's a cool movie.
I love that movie. I've seen that movie like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, he's the like guy with the mohawk at the very beginning that the band stays with, and they have a bad show with him, and then he's like, "Oh, go to my cousin's whatever show," and ends up being a bad so it's like, I had seen him. I did not realize that was the same guy as Tad, the Mohawk guy, when I saw his audition. But it's like, I'm so excited I'm so excited for what's ahead for everybody. But David, it's like you just see the range he gives, and just specifically his performance as Forbes is so nuanced and special. I think I hope he gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. He was a standout for sure. Were there any moments where actors improvised or changed anything from your vision, like initially?
Oh yeah, kind of throughout, really. I mean, I really encouraged everyone to improvise and to like overlap their dialogue and talk over one another. Like, we all know like what it's like to be in a group of people and everyone's vying to talk. Also, the idea of like you being the anxious person at a party and everyone is talking, so it's like hard to even focus on one person. That's something that that's some baggage that like I brought in. So I really wanted to kind of like create that vibe.
Yeah.
But we were lucky enough to have a week of rehearsal at the house before we shot. And during that week, we were rehearsing. I would have everyone improv. I'd take some improv, rewrite the script based on what they're doing. So yeah, there was a lot of reworking stuff based on that week, and then really just throughout, really all just in an effort to kind of make it feel as real as possible.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Sweet. So now we're gonna go into a little game. We like to play games on the show.
All right.
This is going to be guess the 2024 blockbuster from this review. So I'm going to say a quote or review, and you have to guess what movie they're talking about. And it's a movie that came out in 2024 and would be like a bigger movie.
Okay.
Quote, his job was beach, now it's fall.
Fall Guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
A cautionary tale for mothers who tell their sons they're special. I have another quote from the same movie, different reviewer, but same movie. Proof that all men do is be bald and lie.
I feel like I read, proof that all men that be bald and lie. And what was the first one?
The first one, a cautionary tale for mothers who tell their sons they're special.
Oh, this is going to eat.
Do you want me to give you genre?
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
Oh, sci-fi?
These reviews are crazy. I think you have to be so online. It's Dune.
Oh, wait, be bald and lie. Oh, because of Baron Harkonnen.
I don't know.
Okay.
This one. If this didn't make me bisexual, I don't know what will.
Oh man, that could be. This didn't make me bisexual. I don't know what will.
It's sports related.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Challengers. Okay, yes. Okay.
Okay, guys will know they. It's just so funny to me. Guys will say they know a spot and then drive you into a tornado.
Twisters.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for lobbing the softballs after.
Okay, I have 2 last ones. American Psycho, but Taylor's version.
American Psycho.
Think concert.
Oh, Trap?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't. Wait, with Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I was when he said Taylor Swift, I was picturing like a sort of Swiftie as the like
as like
psycho.
the killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. A movie that makes you feel like you can run through a brick wall. Heavy metal cinema.
Oh, Furiosa.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. This next game is there's no right or wrong answer. I'm going to say a word and you tell me what movie comes to mind with the word that I say.
Okay.
First, spicy.
I'm gonna say Saltburn just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saltburn.
Chaotic.
Uncut Gems.
Grim.
The War Zone, which is a Tim Roth directed movie.
Greasy.
Greasy. The Outsiders.
Yeah. Witty.
Shaun of the Dead.
Bizarre.
Titan.
Explosive.
Fury Road.
And finally, timely.
Do the Right Thing.
Nice. Sweet.
This is very fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the listener, can you share how and when they can see your film and anything and everything they need to know?
Sure. Yeah. So It's What's Inside will be streaming on Netflix everywhere on October 4th at 12 a.m. And honestly, I would say going as blind as humanly possible. If you've already listened to this podcast, you're not going in totally blind.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's very much designed with a lot of turns to give you a lot of surprises and be a fun ride.
Definitely. Well, I had so much fun chatting with you and
I had so
watching
much
your
fun too.
movie. I
Thank
hope you
you.
had a good time.
It was great.
Yay. And
Thank you for having me.
now it's time to get lost.
Good evening.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. To stay in touch, follow our Instagram page at It's Intermission Time and share with your friends. As always, Intermission is produced by Jazeel Chu and Olivia Dean, and of course, hosted by yours truly, Megan Braun. This episode is brought to you by The Synagogue.